Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, assorted members of the jury, another game, another you, another me, and in the left-hand corner of the map, playing as the blue set. Well, his name is Matador. His opponent today in the red color, the master of all things aggression, playing the number one god in the game at the moment. No shame. This is the S tier god, no matter what anyone says. Uranus is maybe one of the more tricky gods to play, but definitely incredibly powerful here. And I'm never going to stop saying it. S tier Uranus in the bottom side of the map. It's Mini Eddie. Let's go. We're on the map. Elysium. Let's have a little look-see at the relics and see if they're going to impact this matchup at all. And then we'll take you through the little tricky parts of it all. We got the nose of the Sphinx over here. This is actually a really, really important relic for defending any sort of like big siege pushes that might come at you from the set. This is a really nice relic to sort of shut down that possibility. If I see my opponent grabbing that relic, I'm much more... it's much less likely for them to be thinking, okay, let's go for a siege push of some variety in the mid game. Over here, we've got the text of Imhotep, another really nice relic to increase the build time. Allows you to go for some town centers nice and quick. This is one that I would probably consider picking up as the set player nice and early. Though we do note that generally speaking, the set player is going to be grabbing their hunt, so they don't get their relics very often. I think this is a little bit of a mistake on the side of set players. If there's a good relic, you should pick it up. Stop converting the animals. You can go back to it later. Over here, we've got Zhurang. Not that impactful on this map. It's much better on those closed sort of maps. You're going to be seeing walls here anyways. So for the late game, when Matador's going to want to have the entirety of the map walled up, he will be wanting this relic. Over onto this bottom side, there is the Charon's Opal, which doesn't really have much impact on this one. If you lose villages, even with this relic, it's still not a good thing. The only time it's... Well, to break it down a little bit, if you're playing 2 town center versus 1 town center and you have that relic, it makes it a lot easier to survive raids. Because you're going to continue to get that villager lead back, and the extra resources you get in from losing the villager can make it a little bit nicer. But you've still got all the pain of the fact that you haven't found your edge there, or whatever. Anyways, classical ages coming through. We see the Oceanus for Mini Eddie. No real surprises there. There is a strategy that I haven't seen many Uranus players trying yet in this matchup, which I think is really, really strong against Egyptian in general, and it's good against other gods as well, but it's very good against Egyptian on a nice open map here, especially if the Egyptian player has a tendency to go for a second town center. Even if they don't, it's fine to play at 1 town center versus 1 town center as well. That we're going to be seeing the Oceanus here. So obviously Prometheus would be the other angle. I don't particularly... There's a lot of ins and outs to the strategy, but it's basically... You see how late the set player advances. You see how long it takes them to start getting their buildings up. You would be advanced and you would have paid this off already. It would be heroizing your citizens early on and getting yourself your upgrade from Prometheus, and you can play it there. I say there's a lot of... I feel like you need a lot of knowledge inside of that strategy to make it work though, because there's a lot of ways you can go wrong in terms of strategic decision making. So you have to really know every little in and out of it. I think you probably need to spend like a good 50 hours actually inside of that strategy to unlock it. And once you do, you realize it's really, really good. But nonetheless, we're going to be seeing more of the Oceanus thing, which is also really strong. So it's like, take one strategy for a different one. No problems. Alrighty. So we'll see how things are going to go as Scalloped Axe, Axeman, and all that other good stuff. I imagine we're going to be seeing Mini Eddie trying to get to the heroic age here, but he's going for a down center. Okay, that is unexpected. This is really, really strange for Mini Eddie. Now, I will note that I heard on the grapevine that Mini Eddie has stopped his crazy aggression ways and is trying to play macro games. That's what I've heard. Now, this is obviously a really, really late second town center. He's built 2 Murmillo and he's looking for a tiny bit of raids and pressure. The idea here is that it makes the set player feel like they are... How do I put this? It makes the set player feel like the Uranus player is playing into them. Right? So if an Uranus player going Oceanus spamming Murmillos, you go, great, I'm just going to make a whole bunch of Axemen and we're going to be in a good spot. But Mini Yeti here, he will be losing a Murmillo for it, has effectively tricked Matador. If we take a look at what Matador's got, he hasn't seen anything. He's actually pumping more units when realistically he needs to be thinking about either taking a second town center or moving forward and setting up obelisks all over the map to start preventing sky passages from going up. That's the next move here. But Mini Yeti, very smart, already up onto the second gold mine, and the army effectively for Matador needs to get over here immediately. So he's picked off what looks to be 2 Murmillos for this, but this is perfectly fine for Mini Yeti. Now, I guess the other thing here for Matador to be worried about in going for his classical army is there's a big weakness here to Satyr. Satyr are incredibly strong, and if we're over on this spot, well, it looks like this has been spotted by Matador. Nope, Matador hasn't spotted it just yet. He will see the town center up, and now he is alerted, and he has to decide what he's going to do. I do think the best play here for Matador is to get a whole bunch of priests out, get across the map, and just put those obelisks everywhere. Gets a snipe there as the citizens pull back. Not ideal for Mini Yeti. Really shouldn't be losing any villages to these raids. Should be like 3 sky passages up already. 1 on your main base, 1 over here, and obviously 1 on this position as well. And then you just never lose anything as the citizens pop out. Gonna go for some shanks. Lose a second citizen. Trying to be a little bit cute there. Great play from Matador as he's keeping things nice and close. Shockwave gets dropped down as he really wants to pick up a unit or 2 just because these guys are gonna all get healed up. You got to be careful not to move too far out of the base with those Murmillos because the army can just turn around and take the fight. But nonetheless, Matador, he's back. And we'll see how things are going to go. But yeah, he needs, basically right now, Matador needs like 3 or 4 priests, and he just got to put the obelisk everywhere. And he's almost forced into this one town center all-in angle. Wadgets, Spearmen, Axemen, Slinger. Probably already got enough slingers in for the moment, to be honest. Just needs to chill on those and go for a full infantry army with some priests. And you can see over here already, the sky passages, they're starting to creep up all over the place. One really sneaky idea from Uranus would be to actually move a villager down here and start chopping this olive tree. Not to put a sky passage up like immediately, but just to wait. If this gets pushed off, now we sky passage over here and we come to this gold mine. Super annoying, super tough to deal with. Citizen over here gets taken out as the army of Matador still finding a lot of value. Another citizen going down over there. I think that might have been from the poison from the Wadget. But town center nonetheless going to get little bits of damage as Mini Yeti has got really no choice here except for going to the next age. He does have his sky passage over onto this side, but Matador will be spotting that this gold mine is getting taken. Now, he has to actually look over there because he hasn't been alerted of any red units just yet. In fact, yeah, even now, that's getting taken very quickly, which does leave that whole home gold mine with only 700 gold, still leaves it there for a rainy day. As the villagers popping in, and Mini Yeti's heroic age dreams have been cut short here. He's going, looks like everyone on gold for some reason. Watchtowers coming through, more Murmillos. He's got those oracles over here. They can pop through the sky passage as well. Jump over onto this position, wander over here and things like that as an idea, as the army of Matador is looking very out of position. A lot of Murmillos to come in right now. This here for Matador, this is not a great place to be in. Watchtowers plus town center plus all these other guys as the shifting sands comes in just as Mini Yeti goes, wow, you're fighting this? He drops the carnivora there as a little bit early, but not terrible. But still, shifting sands is now down. I mean, you know that Mini Eddie wants heroic age, but he was forced out. These units have been forced out, which does change things a little bit as the walls are going to come through. The citizens make their way over to this side. Matador needs to be staring at his mini map, and it looks like he is staring at it as the flag pops up over here. Now, the good thing for Mini Eddie is he can just simply drop a sky passage and be out of here, but that's still going to be 4 citizen worth of idle time, unless he wants to pop through his sky passage and actually take a fight here. Because this is also a thing that like a couple of spearmen is not going to be enough here. Nice, the citizens pop through. Mini Eddie pops out. Caraballister can go one side to the other side. And this is a very, very tough position to deal with. Over onto this side as well. A couple of spearmen coming there as the villagers can easily just, or the army can easily just defend both sides. In fact, you could pop these citizens from this side over to this side and be eating these berries for the time being, as the units are very, very much out of position. Well, not out of position, but they're just so far away from the action. As after all is said and done, Mini Eddie does manage to survive, does get himself to the heroic age. A mana coming down now for Mini Eddie as electron bullets to come through and more units on the way for Matador. It's now only occurred to me 12 minutes into this game that we have another player with an M at the start. One thing to note about Age of Mythology players is if your name starts with an M, it automatically means you gain about 200 real rating points. That's the truth of it. So don't forget it. Don't forget it. Okay, wooden wall getting taken down, and this is with Zhurang as well. I think yeah, he does. Look at. I mean, it might not seem like a lot of HP here because you can't really tell it's going down, but this wall is sitting alive for a very, very long time now for Mini Yeti. Yeah, everyone's going to be changing their names now that I've said that. I like it. It's a good idea. Moit. That's what we're going with. We're Moit from now on. Nonetheless, the army here of Mini Yeti cannot stay and fight for the time being. Needs to pull back into the main base. Still has got that gold remaining. Stone walls up. These units over here getting cleaned up as well, as the spearmen have to sacrifice themselves to kill off a couple of citizens, getting 2 of those low HP ones. One of them, this one as well. Does it go down? It does go down. So not a terrible trade there for Matador, but he does sack all of those spearmen, which is also good for Mini Yeti as well, as now he gets himself up his palace, and he is good to move ahead in this game, completely safe. And Matador really does need to start thinking about second town center angles, as you're going to drop it, or a Mythic Age that comes in a flash. He needs to be there like yesterday, basically. As soon as he clicks the next stage, put a Migdol down and be at 2,400 resources incredibly quickly, basically praying that your tornado is going to get you your value to actually play the game. As the Caraballas are coming, what is this Oracle doing? It's got a mind of its own. Nonetheless, now Matador has got himself set up on all the gold mines with these obelisks. He knows where potential sky passages are going to go. But Mini Yeti doesn't need any sky passages now. He's got the civilian unit advantage. All he needs is time. And he's going to be setting up a palace here, which is nice as well. All he really needs is time here. He sits back, play defense. This citizen going down, not ideal. But the Satyr is in. The Caraballas are in. That's still a huge loss there. Huge loss there for Matador to actually pick off one citizen when he's behind in the villages. He still's got a massive military lead. But you're not going to be able to make anything happen if there's a fortress here, or if there's a palace here, right? You don't have any siege. Of course, you got the Scarab coming at some point, but yeah, this palace is now up. Can't really grab the gold mine for a little bit. Maybe another palace is needed, but all I would say Mini Yeti needs here is time. So more buildings, more defense. Sit back, play a game of let's wait. You can also go into those Pontarius and try and make that work. But of course, the villager differential is now somewhat equal, but it's so much in favor of Mini Yeti that even though the villages are increasing by the same, there's still going to be an income advantage, at least for the next couple of minutes. But that income advantage will be removed in a few more minutes after that, as Matador will get close to 100 villages himself. In fact, Matador here given the way Mini Yeti is playing, one angle for Matador could be to just grab this town center and this town center. We don't see that very often, but a 4 town center position here when you're in front by this many military units can be an angle. Can be an angle. Of course, you then have to sacrifice a little bit of the map and you're playing for more of a late game, but it can work. Nonetheless, over onto this side, Mini Yeti trying to grab as much of his hunt as he possibly can as a Sky Passage on the front to come through. And you got to be so careful as well of getting close to a Sky Passage because the Satyr popping in and out to just kill off all these units in one shot is going to be brutal. Citizen going down over here as Mini Yeti does take a little bit of damage. But Matador, he should not be hanging out here. He tries to, I like this. Put pressure on this side while attacking over here is very smart. But for the time being, not going to be able to do a whole lot more as the army charges forward with the chaos getting dropped in here. As the destroyers chasing after this, but not exactly the damage, I think, that Mini Yeti was hoping for. But he gets himself enough time now to at least start this next palace, which secures this gold mine. He's still got plenty of gold over here, so it wasn't that much of a rush to get this up. But nonetheless, getting it up will be huge. As the main base now under a little bit of attack. Villagers coming over here to repair the economic guild. Very smart because the watchtower, I feel like it's missing some arrows here. The watchtower will be able to take out these spearmen. So he's basically paying for the repair and the idle time in the amount of damage he's doing with that tower. So smart play there from Mini Yeti. As Matador now going to slowly start taking himself more of the map. Military differential is getting close to equal. Villager differential is getting out of control. And, well, yeah, basically at this point, Mini Yeti is just going to have to play for map control and play for a big advantage in gold mines. I think that's where he's going to find his big advantage here. So he's got to come over here and take this position, and maybe claim this position back off of Matador. If he can do that, then there's going to be no way for Matador to play this game out. So there's no like timer or anything. I mean, there is, but there's no like crazy timer here that you have to wait for. You just take the map and then claim the next position. You got a lot of time to make all that happen because the gold mines have to expire, right? Nonetheless, these Satyr moving forward, just getting just a gigantic amount of value here. In fact, let's have a quick look. 3,300 HP already and more to come. Such a difficult unit to deal with because what you actually need is the priests in front of your army, which is super, super difficult to do. And normally the answer for Satyr for Egyptians is not actually priests. It's Betsukos or something similar to Betsukos. I don't think there's anything else like them for the Egyptians, like Wadjets, I guess. But yeah, that's normally the answer for Satyr. Priests, they can work, but it's hard. One angle would be to go in with a siege tower, garrison the priests inside of the siege tower, and then leave the siege tower in front of your army. That way, he can't snipe your priest with Arcus or anything like that. And when he runs forward with the Satyr, you ungarrison the priest, and then you can shoot back. Basically, in other words, garrison micro on your priests is the best way to deal with these Satyr. You can do the same sort of thing with the Son of Osiris, I guess, as well. But don't have access to that either. I mean, Meteor or Tornado as well could be a nice little way to get through this as well. As Matador is completely shut off from making his way past this army. So that's Satyr. I mean, it just... And also, you got the... Oh, God. You got the Caladria there as well to heal all this up. This is so, so strong for Mini Yeti here. So, so strong. And he's got the palace behind this as well. Still struggling to get himself up to like resources or up to population. But he's at 100 villages. Matador has caught up on the villager count though. So, kind of. He's a little bit behind, but he's almost caught up. Which does beg the question, does it, even if these Satyr are just getting all of the damage done, all of the value, What is Mini Yeti doing behind this? He's going to be grabbing himself fortified town centers. Crenellation coming through. Still doesn't grab this position. Over here, he's got that Contarius trying to lock this position off. I said this gold mine was super important for Mini Yeti to go for. Probably more important than the town center, more important than fortified town centers as well. Actually, that's not Mini Yeti. That's Matador getting the fortified town centers. Unless the army gonna slowly move back forward here. And Mini Yeti dropping another curse or chaos onto this one as the slingers get a huge amount of damage done onto themselves. The priest can heal them up, so it's not the biggest of deals. In fact, one little trick here on the Egyptian army is to turn the auto heal on. Basically, if the units are ever not to focus fired, they'll go onto healing instead of targeting another unit, which can be very, very helpful. The question is, why pure slingers? The reason is actually that he's got slings of the sun and electron bullets. So it doesn't really help him against the Contarius, which are really, really good versus the slinger, but it does help him versus the destroyer, as he's doing or doing 0.5 times 1.75 damage, so nearly a damage, a divine damage a second, which is a lot onto a destroyer, plus all the pierce damage which gets blocked though, 76%. But it's still a pretty decent amount there. But I think you're right. Probably more spearmen or like maybe elephants or something here would be really, really nice for Matador. But I guess he just can't really afford it, which is the big issue. So really good control from Matador with that spread formation. Now the Satyr getting pushed back here by the priest, and a great retreat that we didn't actually take out those priests there. He's going up for Helios as well. As you can see that heavy archers are coming through at the moment. So Mini Yeti does want to make a move into Arcus at some point in this game. He's made the intentions to us clear. Obviously, Matador in the game won't know that. But there is an intention to go into Arcus here. Probably not to deal with the Slinger. But Mini Yeti wants these Slingers to be moved away from, as the Destroyer is coming back over here. Mini Yeti does know how important this gold mine is. It's already half been mined out. This top one becoming more and more important for Mini Yeti in this game, as Helios is now on the way. Matador's economy, while seemingly struggling with not very many resources in the bank, it's doing completely fine here. It's just he's losing so many units, and one day we'll get the Caladria having or the healers in the game having a little bit of how much they healed value, but I would guarantee you that these Caladria have paid for themselves several times over in this game, as the Destroyer is coming through. Is it enough? Looks like it's not going to quite be enough as some Camel Riders get in, help defend on that one. And Mini Yeti will pull back. Even walls up. This is so good from Mini Yeti as well. You don't see this from Aranos players or Atlantean players very often, but this is one of the most powerful things you can do with Atlantean, especially Aranos. But once you get the map control, take it, or once you can line it up, and then you can put Sky Passages on your front, and you can start zapping around there as you wish. Another really interesting play here for Mini Yeti, once he hits Helios, is going to be to Vortex Chaos the army. So you're right on top of that army when it's completely idled or incapacitated, or however you want to say it. It's the Destroyer over here just getting chased down. Matador has secured himself his top position. We'll have to get himself probably fortified walls or something as well. This game definitely going to be heading to somewhat of a late-ish game, as the Vortex into the main base here. How many destroyers does he have? He's got 12 destroyers and a Centamanus, as he splits off with those Contarius going after the villagers. Taking out the Citadel Center is huge. It's 150 favor for another one, as the Centamanus tries to knock those villagers away. But the Citadel goes down. The army comes back in. Minieti does need to split from here. It takes a while for the Vortex to come off cooldown. It's a minute of cooldown. Losing all of these destroyers is not going to be ideal, but picking off the houses is a great plan for Minieti as full chaos for Matador at the moment. Over onto this side, Contarius searching for villages to pick off, but the Camel Riders are in hot pursuit. Over onto this side now as well. Move the front of war. Instead of hitting the back line now, we go into the front line, still trying to push off gold, claim the corner, and all that other good stuff. As these destroyers are going to be able to deny the town center yet again. 4 champion destroyers in the main base is a real big pain. But yeah, just in picking off that Sky Passage on the front, just in picking off that town center, huge stuff now coming in. Effectively, it just means Matador just lost 10 population there. He's going to get his town center back without question. But I mean, where to from then is the real big question. Is Chaos getting dropped down onto some of these units? The Caladria finally on the front there, going down as the Satyr turn back in to take more fights. And yet he's still struggling to actually get himself out of full population army. Petrification coming in. We don't actually see this one very often. But effectively, if this guy is idle, he gets a whole bunch of extra hack vulnerability for being idle. Which is interesting, as the Vortex back into the main base, going to be denying this town center yet again, picking off more villages, causing more problems. But this time, the Satyr is sitting over here. One thing that I didn't touch on for a really strong way, or a really strong reason for why Helios, I didn't really think about this ages ago, but one strong idea for why you can pick Helios with Uranus and it's really strong is that you can drop units you don't want to Vortex, specifically units that aren't normally garrisonable, like the Satyr, like your myth units. You can put them into a Sky Passage. And that means you can then Vortex without them being taken to the front. So if you don't want your Satyr on the front line, or you don't want half your army on the front line, just put them into a Sky Passage, then Vortex, pop them back out, and you can fight on 2 fronts very, very quickly. Sky Passage, Shockwave onto those back units there. These Satyr might have run out of steam here before they die. 16,000, probably up to like 18,000 damage there, as they will finally go down. I mean, he could have tried to run with them. He did have an escape route. Like, he didn't have to lose them all, but maybe he just doesn't want them anymore. As full iron on the way for Minieti. He's got 170 favor in the bank. Is there ever a world here where you go for a bunch of Centimanas? Is there ever a world? As now the Mythic Age comes through, and this is where Set becomes really strong versus Atlantean. Horus. Fully upgraded Horus with Horus Spearman and everything that comes with that. But gold mine situation about to run out for Matador. He does have his trade route started, but there's only 3 camel caravans. So Matador cannot afford to lose units moving forward in this game. Cannot afford to lose units in this game. He's actually still going for camels as well as champion camel riders comes through. I get that he has a whole bunch of them out at the moment, but still, Tornado gets dropped down and a Vortex away from this. I love that play up onto the top position. You're now going to go after the town center, dodges the Tornado off to the next spot, kill off another town center, and really just showing it all. As now advanced fortifications to come through. This gold mine getting grabbed. You have 3,000 gold left. That could be an angle for Matador to play for. If he gets that gold mine, then he gets a little bit of time to get himself into a fully upgraded army. Could be able to play from that, but losing another town center onto this back position, losing villages. He's down to 73 villages. He's losing even more on this gold mine. As Minieti's chaos getting caused is just overwhelming at the moment. There are dreams of going for a Titan as well for Minieti, but realistically, I don't think he needs to do that. He just needs to continue flowing units in, take more of this map, push into this spot, lock off the trade route, and then he's in a good spot. But Matador will be able to come back over here. We'll be able to delete all this army. He's still got 4.k military resource value, so even though he's got no gold income, it's not the end of the world. But a sky passage onto this position, now knocking down the double walls here with all those destroys. And he has reinforcements to come through if he wants. He can grab the villagers here, charge in through this spot, drop a palace down, and cut off that trade route nearly immediately. This now Mini Yeti is going to start going for some of those Arcus. He does have himself his Arcus upgrade there as well, which will put them up to 21 range. There's the destroyers to kill off all those markers. Does he have one left? He does have one left, but it's in his main base. Could send his trade route up to this position at the moment, but now another vortex into the main base, even not with full military. Just wants to deny the town centers non-stop here. Only one town center up means only one source of gold, or one trade route possible, which is sort of this back corner up to here. As the villagers might try and make their way over here, but there's a double wall up already. He has to go all the way around and then up and past the palace and probably lose all the villagers anyways. As more houses are going to go down. Matador trying to stabilize at the moment, but really, really struggling to make it happen. So the slingers coming through. Citizens will all come up onto this spot, finish off this gold mine, and all the gold will be gone except for 730 that's in the main base. A couple of war elephants trying to at least force Mini Yeti back, but the advantage for Mini Yeti is just getting out of control. I mean, if we look at the armory difference, it's only iron, but it's also champion upgrades as well. And now we also see the Center Manus coming in. The Warden of Tartarus. And also Six of the Titans. So a huge tank or a building killer. This is clean up everything else. And Matador, we don't get to see it, but Matador will tap out at that moment there as Mini Yeti on the Uranus, showing how it's done in a really, really just technical way. I love this plan for Mini Yeti. I mean, of course, there are ways around it from the set side of things. Things like dropping your vision at the right point to see what your opponent's up to. I think the double Murmillo, I could be wrong on this, but I think the double Murmillo going into the set player's base, into Matador's base, really threw Matador for a bit of a curly. If Mini Yeti had gone for like a naked second town center without any Murmillo, then all of a sudden at like 7 minutes into the game, the entirety of the map is lit up with obelisks, and he's not able to get those sky passes around the map. He's not able to get the situation that he wanted. But because of that slight twist in it, he's able to go around the map, which means even though he's behind on villages, he's actually in front of villages because he doesn't have to sacrifice any trying to go for YOLO sky passages and things like that. But yeah, really well played from Mini Yeti. Solid game here. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you hit the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.